Okay, I just want to tell you what my thinking is like about for the flower pot and candle heater. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 baking dishes, bread baking dishes bought from Poundland, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terracotta pots for demonstration purposes. That one's been plugged up with aluminium foil. Okay, some of the experiences I've had so far with these things have actually been quite interesting, so I wanted to experiment some more. I looked on Wikipedia and they said that each and every single candle each and every single candle flame can be about 80 watts worth of power. So let's say you had 4 of them, 4 candles under one of those flower pots, you would have 4 times 80 worth of watts being produced in that particular heating apparatus. So some 320 watts being represented by that if it had 4 candles underneath it, 4 tea light candles underneath it. Multiply that by 3 and you've got over 900 watts, nearly 1,000 watts worth of power. So these 3 pots, if they all had 1, 2, 3, 4 tea lights in each one of these things underneath, would be becoming a heater capable of emitting basically 1,000 watts worth of power. The purpose of having the ceramic, okay, the terracotta pots on top, is to stop all of the heat from the candle going straight up to the ceiling and being dissipated in the mess of the room, when essentially what you need is to have something a little bit more immediate that you can feel and which provides you with a feeling of some kind of radiance. The inner pots of all of the various different things which I had made before seem to have more, radiant power to them. I've included this here and this here because I thought if I had 5 of these things going all at once, I'd have the equivalent of a 1,500 watt heater. Now I know full well that if I run my mains electric 1500 watts oil filled radiator, that can keep the temperature up in this room at about 15 or 16 degrees Celsius even when it's down to about minus something or other outside, which means a 1500 watt heater could be a good thing. However, it was pointed out to me recently on a forum that a system which uses candles and flower pots has no thermostat, so maybe you'll be getting more power out of it. And that's something which is worthwhile bearing in mind. So essentially my job now is my mission, should I decide to accept it, is to experiment more and see what I can do here. Taking into account that each one of these singular individual candles has in this pack anyway, has a burn time of about 3.5 hours. Alright, so essentially we could set up 3 of these burners going, let's say, and then what we'll have is 3.5 hours worth of heat being stored and created in our little pots. Okay, we'll just have to see how it works, but essentially if all the power does go and all I'm left with is this, then essentially one whole day's worth of usage would be all of them plus all of them plus all of them, all of them and all of them. So what you're looking at there is 1 day's worth of flat heating fuel, and it costs £2. Alright, I want to find a shop which will sell all of these for £1, but this is being sold for £2. I don't know whether these budget shops are yet worked out. In this case, I think it was Asda I bought this from. That people are contemplating using tea lights for domestic heating, but that's something we're going to stay pretty hush hush about. Otherwise, they'll start whacking up the prices for green research or whatever it is they want to talk about. When essentially we got all the green research that we want to right here. I'm rambling again, aren't I? Anyway, that's where I've got on my research so far, so let's see how it goes. Okay, it might not look like much, but we got more or less the equivalent of 1 bar of an electric fire going there. Each one of those tins has got 4 tea light candles in them. You can see the light coming out underneath each flower pot. Flower pots are plugged up with aluminium foil just for the heck of it. And yeah, there's some heat coming off them already, so essentially this is really rather interesting. I mean, I can feel some radiant heat. It's not tremendous, it's not staggering. Yeah, that's hot. Okay, so yeah, it is radiant. It is a radiant heater. It's doing its job. Now, if I was really clever, I'll be setting up some kind of reflector behind it. Getting something made out of, I don't know, brushed steel or something which looks really good and rather middle class. So that I can actually have this as something which actually looks good, as well as something which is functional as well as cheap. Okay, so 12 candles being used, twopence a candle, 24 pence, the equivalent of 1 bar of an electric fire being run for 3.5 hours. Okay, So it's not actually too bad, really. I mean, if you actually didn't have anything at all for heating, you had the, I mean, I'm not sure which is my imagination. No, it's not my imagination. I can feel it on the back of my hands now. Okay, this one in the middle is hotter at the moment. Maybe that's due to the position of the candles themselves. I don't know. But you know, it's not major, massive, and spectacular, but it's definitely helping. I'm actually quite pleased with that. Now, just for safety's sake, over there you can see plugged into the mains is something, and that goes all the way up to my carbon monoxide detector, which is there. We'll just check to see what's going on here. Oh, all green and dandy, not a problem. Okay, so far no problem. If it goes off, obviously I'll let you know, because I don't want anybody out there to die from carbon monoxide poisoning, and carbon monoxide is an issue no matter what. I'm sure a lot of people who want to use technology like this just want to just reduce the number of hours they got mains power on, and they want to try and find ways of cutting down heating rather than necessarily going completely off grid. And those who are completely and utterly off grid, or maybe you want to have like your 1 bar of electric fire equivalent of for a smallish flat, running for 3 hours for 24 pence, or if you can get 100 candles for £1, which you can in some shops, at least you could a little while ago, then you got 12 pence spent to run your 1 bar of an electric fire for 3 hours. I mean, that's actually really rather good. Now, I am concerned about the carbon monoxide issue, but I actually think I've got something I can sit in front of now. Now, I've also bought myself some Hammerite paints. Now, Hammerite, they make paints for barbecues as well as everything else. So they got a specialist one. Ooh, that was nice. And they got this specialist one which is designed for really high temperatures, like 600 degrees Celsius. And I was thinking of painting either the entire pot, that one's really nice, okay, black, so that we can get some proper radiation from the whole thing, or just painting the front half of it black. Because if I did that, then I would have a radiant surface, which would be more efficient for radiation than, let's say, a terracotta colored one. Okay, but it's working. This one for some reason is nowhere near as hot. This one is the hottest. That one is pretty warm. But I'm feeling it. Give it a bit longer, and we'll have more heat coming out. Maybe that one's darker because it's absorbed more water, and it'll start steaming soon. But I don't know. We just have to wait and see. Of course, another way of doing it is to put another pot on top, but with the whole of the second pot open, so it acts more like a convector, with the middle one getting really hot, and then the one on top allowing the convection out of the hole. But if you want radiation, then man, you want radiation. Yeah, not bad. See how it goes. Okay, it's been going for a little while now. The impression of it is pretty good. I mean, I can't really touch the middle part without swearing now, so obviously that is hot. Alright, this one's not quite as hot for some reason, I don't know why. This one's also pretty packing it out. And when I sit down here in front of it, not only do I have a nice glow of candles coming out underneath, I also can feel the radiant heat. This is actually, it's a device which is actually doing its job. Now, my impression so far on the heat output side of things, not too bad for what you're getting. Do I want to rely upon something like this? I'm not too sure about that. Although the carbon monoxide meter so far has not yet been tripped, there's no sort of beep 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 beep, warning noises to say get out of here. The whole place is gonna like kill you terribly. So for short-ish term usage, this kind of device doesn't seem to be too bad. I mean, it's actually working. It's actually working. I can feel it. I can, that's radiant heat. It's working. It's working at my level. I can sit here. I can warm myself by it. Yeah, but the air does smell and taste of candle wax being burned. So essentially, in that respect, it's as far as air quality is concerned, it's not totally pure and perfect. That's something I think you just got to live with. But on every other count, we have a functional heating device. So yeah, as far as using it as part of my off-grid thingy bob, what is way of living, this can be part of the way in which I choose to live. I don't think I would want to necessarily rely 100% on something like this though, because I'm just concerned about toxicity from candle wax being burned. But I've learned how it works. I've learned that it works. I can use it. Yeah, it's comparatively cheap to run for a reasonably long period of time. Now, will I start spray painting my pots, at least on the outside, with Hammerite barbecue paint black matte, so that I can get more radiation from it on one side? I think I might just do that. I mean, I think it would make sense. But one thing I'll tell you is that this is going to reduce the risk of me getting freezing cold in the dead of the winter. Now, these pots cost much less than £2. These baking trays, they cost £1. So an off-grid solution for people who don't have that much in the way of money and want to have more radiant heat, go for it. The only other expense was something to plug the holes up with, but you could take like a oh shit, ow, never, don't touch the metal, don't touch the memo to self, okay, don't touch the metal at the top, okay, because that gets very hot. Just something to plug up the holes with that won't burn. That's the only other thing you got to do. Then just have something to light the candles with. Remember, these are tea light candles, each one costing 2p. So you've got 8p in there, 8p in there, 8p in there for over 3 hours worth of heating. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Make yourself one. Just do it. Don't sit around arguing. Make yourself one.